Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about the 5:38 forecast for the 2020 presidential election, and quite a bit has actually occurred since the last time we talked about this, basically 2 weeks ago. And before that, I just wanted to say that tomorrow I will be making my 2020 official election prediction tomorrow with my Senate and House predictions the days after that. And in addition to that, I will also be starting to upload 2 videos every day. Starting tomorrow, basically, I'll be uploading one state prediction video, starting with the state of Georgia. Basically, I'll be doing it in order of poll closing by alphabetical for each poll closing time. So Georgia will be first tomorrow, followed by Indiana and Kentucky, and then so on until we finish all 50 states and DC. And so the state prediction will be earlier in the morning, and then my normal videos, as I typically do, will come a little bit later in the day. And so today I wanted to talk about the 5:38 forecast, and this forecast, a lot has really changed since the last time we talked about it. First, the DNC and RNC have all both happened. Really, no candidate has really seemed to see too much of a bump. However, there has been some shifts in the electoral college, and in addition to that, the many states are now proving to not be as strong for Biden as they may have seemed just a couple of weeks ago. So this was basically updated just 1 hour ago, and I just want to talk about the information they have here. So looking down here, this is the percentage that they give each candidate of winning the election. Biden has dropped a little bit. He was at around the low 70s last time. Now he's in the high 60s. Currently, Biden has a 67 in 100 chance of winning the election, with Donald Trump having a 32 and 1. And looking at all of these scenarios, as you can see, there are still many more Biden win scenarios. With his best scenario, he wins by over 400 electoral votes, and then Trump's best scenario, he wins by a little over 200. So the map is still very favorable for Biden. There's so many more Biden win scenarios than there are Trump win scenarios. However, this map, I think, is tightening, and it is getting closer and closer as we get closer to election day. And then looking at their simulations, this is basically the same chart inverted. So of course there are more different scenarios or simulations where Biden wins the election than these simulations where Trump wins. And basically there are a lot more, of course, with Biden victories. And this is basically almost the same as this graph. As you can see, there are more higher blue peaks on the right side, and then less red peaks on top over here. And then this is what they call the widening path to victory. This is the snake graph they like to do every 4 years. Basically what this is they plot out all of these states into this kind of state graph. Not all of them, I don't think, unless this is all 50. Yes, this is all 50. So basically the closer the state, the closer it is to this 270 electoral vote mark right there. And then the safer it is, the more farther it is over here. As you can see, the Washington, D.C. is, of course, the most liberal district, I guess. And then the third district of Nebraska is, of course, the most conservative area in the entire country. And then these swing states are states you can see in the middle here: Arizona, Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina. And since last time, they have moved North Carolina into the Republican column. This used to be on the Biden side. However, it is now in the Republican side for President Trump. And then looking at this line right here, they still think that the state of Pennsylvania will be the state that helps Joe Biden cross 270 electoral votes, making the state of Pennsylvania the tipping point state in 538's opinion. And the state of Minnesota is still basically in the same spot, I think. Unless it's moved I think it's moved a little closer to the 270 line. Basically, the safer it is, the farther it is back. So, states like California are all the way back here, Massachusetts, Hawaii, Vermont. However, the closest states are all up here. Michigan has actually moved further back since last time we talked about it. Michigan has gotten safer for Joe Biden, and then the state of Minnesota has gotten close. I want to take a look at the Minnesota data here. They still give Joe Biden a 69% chance of winning the state, and based on polling, he's not really doing too well right now. He led by 10% in a poll last month. A poll early this month, he led by 2%, and then a poll a little bit later in the middle of the month by Trafalgar Group. Biden wasn't even leading. This was even. However, Trafalgar Group is known for being a lot more right-leaning, so that probably explains why this is the case. I really don't think that Biden, I don't think that this is a good representation of what will really happen. I don't think he's up 0 points. I think he's up at least 4 or 5 points in the state of Minnesota. Emerson gives Biden a 2-point lead. So, Emerson's an A- rated pollster by 538. So that is, of course, not a good sign for Biden. That's really just one poll that shows him not doing so well. And then some other states I want to look at. I want to take a look at the state of Florida, actually, because Florida, 29 electoral votes, I think will be very important for Biden. He has a 60% chance of winning the state. He's doing all right in the polls right now. Of course, he led by 8 on August 16th, but really there's no rating here, so really we should not too credible. However, after this change, research gives Biden a 3-point lead, and public policy gives Biden a 4-point lead in the state of Florida. So you can see it is tightening up in a lot of these races, and this is really after Biden's. This is really after the RNC, to be honest. So I think that Donald Trump really does surprisingly have seen I think Donald Trump really has seen a little bit of a convention bump, in my opinion. But of course, convention bumps don't last forever. Trump's only lasts around 1 or 2 weeks last time, but we'll see how long it lasts this time. Of course, Biden really did not receive any type of bump. If you consider a bump, I guess that part right there could be a little bump for him, but really not too much. But Trump did definitely see a little bit of bump. I think this is just because a lot more Democratic voters are voting for Biden, while I think a smaller percentage of Republican voters are going to vote for Trump, or were planning to. But I think that the RNC has really been able to motivate them to vote for the president in 2020. And then let's take a look at Arizona. 52% for Biden. I think that this is quite a bad sign for him. He was already up at almost 60% last time we talked about this. Biden is leading in all the polls, so that's a good thing. But Trump has led in a Trafalgar Group poll and then won in early August. And so I think Arizona is still in the Biden column. However, it's not as safe as it was before. North Carolina, I want to take a look at 45% for Biden, 55% for Trump. I think last time was 51-49. So definitely not a good sign for Biden, as you can see. Yes, of course, last time of Biden, it was basically 50-50, 51-49. As you can see, I talked about it around then, right? Yeah, I believe around the 14th. So 51-49. And the popular vote, of course. So this state, 530, does think that Biden is no longer going to win. However, looking at polling data, this does contradict that. Looking at polling data, Biden is still in the lead. He led in the latest 2 polls. So it's really a toss-up at this point. But I think North Carolina really isn't a state that Biden really needs. But a state like, I think, Minnesota is definitely one that he needs if he wants to win the election. And then Texas, the last state I want to look at, only 22% for Biden right now. I think last time was around 30%, 78% for a Trump win, as you can see, yes, right there. We looked at it last around August 14th, so yeah, 30% for Biden, 70% for Trump. Looking at the popular vote, I think it's gotten pretty bad, 6% in favor of Trump right now. Biden does lead in the newest polls, so honestly, this is a good sign for Biden. Even if he's losing, even if he only has a 20% chance of winning, this is still a very good sign for Biden and the Democrats in general. Because in the future, the state of Texas is going to go to a Democrat. It's going to return back to the Democratic Party after over 4 decades of being controlled by the Republicans. And I think that this, just Biden leading, and Biden actually leads in more polls than Trump on this list here. He's by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trump leads by 3. So definitely a very good sign. Trump does have bigger leads in some polls. YouGov gives Trump a 7-point lead. Trafalgar Group gives Trump a 6-point lead. For public policy and global strategy, all give Biden a lead in the state of Texas. So really also a toss-up. But I think that just because of his Republican history, it's going to go to the GOP once again in 2020. And so basically, that's basically all the important states I want to take a look at on this list. Honestly, I think that it's not a good sign for Biden. But I think that in terms of winning the election, Biden is still going to win, in my opinion, just because he's leading just way too many states. He's doing so well in Texas, Georgia, Iowa, Ohio. Let's take a look at Ohio. 40% in a state that Hillary Clinton lost by, I believe, 9 points in 2016, 40% for President Trump. Biden, Trump hasn't even led in a poll in the entire state of August. In the entire state of August, Biden has not been behind Trump in a state like Ohio. So definitely, it's not as bad as you may think for Biden. I know a lot of people are talking about how the election might be swinging in favor of Trump right now. But honestly, Trump is making ground, and that's what we all expected, because the election is always expected to get closer as the election gets closer. But I really do not think that this is a breaking point for Biden right now. I really don't think that this is a sign that Trump is definitely going to win the election or anything like that. I've been looking at how the forecast has changed, of course, since last time we talked about it, around the 14th, I believe. Basically 73% for Biden. Last time we talked about it, this time it's 67%. So still pretty good, honestly, because a lot of these chances of winning these sort of things, they are making up for their mistakes in 2016, which is why Trump was doing so bad in these last time. However, he's doing much better this time around. Based on electoral votes, Biden has dropped from around the mid 320s to the low 310s. Honestly, he only needs 270. It doesn't really matter how he gets there, so 312 still a good sign for Biden. The popular vote, 52.2%, really no change here. He's at around 52.7% last time. It's really just a 0.5% drop from last time, but really not too big of a deal. He still has an expected 6-point lead over the president, according to 538. And so this is the new updated 538 forecast that I wanted to talk about today. Of course, please subscribe so you do not miss out on my future videos, like, of course, my election prediction I will be coming out with tomorrow, and then my Senate predictions. And then if you enjoyed this video, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. Please leave all your thoughts in the comments below, along with any video suggestions you'd like to see from me in the future. As well as that, of course, I'll be doing 2 uploads a day tomorrow, so make sure you check out those 2 videos I'll be posting tomorrow, and I will see you in the next video.